Hi everybody. The Indian government has been extremely bullish on alternate sources of petrol and diesel for a long time now, especially Nitin Gadkari.
5 साल के बाद पेट्रोल देश से समाप्त हो जाएगा। आपकी स्कूटर, आपकी कार एक तो हाइड्रोजन पे होगी, ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पर, या इथेनॉल पर फ्लेक्स इंजन पर होगी, या CNG और LNG पर होगी।
जब से गडकरी जी मिनिस्टर बने हैं तब से वो बात कर रहे हैं ग्रीन फ्यूल की, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स की, इथेनॉल की, ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन की।
पेट्रोल डीजल पंप के जगह पर आप वो इथेनॉल के और बायोडीजल के पंपों को भी परमिशन दें, और ताकि लोग उसको यूज़ करेंगे तो वो कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव है, इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट है, पोल्यूशन फ्री है और इंडिजीनियस है।
Crude oil prices keep fluctuating with geopolitical tensions. They are bleeding our foreign exchange reserves, and most importantly, they emit 12% of India's energy-related carbon emissions. And this is again causing both pollution and global warming. But this is where Nitin Gadkari catalyzed the next big fuel revolution in India. And he is so optimistic about this vision that he says that India will not just decrease its imports, but it will also go on to become an exporter of fuel to the world.
हिंदुस्तान ये एनर्जी को इंपोर्ट करने वाला नहीं, तो एनर्जी को निर्यात करने वाला देश बनेगा। हमारी रेलवे, हवाई जहाज, हमारी गाड़ियाँ, ट्रक, बसेस, हमारा स्टील, केमिकल्स, सब उसके ऊपर चलेगी, और 10 साल में पूरा ये इंपोर्ट खत्म हो जाएगा, पोल्यूशन भी खत्म हो जाएगा।
And one of the most important instruments of this massive revolution is a fuel that we all know as compressed natural gas, or CNG. Now, if you're a thinkschool student, you know what this means, right? What is the government? The government is the godfather of the market. And if the godfather is bullish on something, then it is pointing towards a $1 million business opportunity. In fact, if you look at the market reports, the share of CNG powered vehicles has been increasing from 3.5% of passenger vehicle sales in 2019 to 11% in 2022, and it is expected to grow to 18% in the next 5 years. And you know what? Bajaj Auto and Maruti Suzuki, they've done such an incredible job that today they have a market share of 79% and 75% respectively. And this market is booming so fast that Maruti has increased its CNG sales by 4 times in the last 6 years. Tata Motors wants to make CNG sales equal to the EV sales. And recently, if you saw, Bajaj Auto is going to launch the world's first CNG powered motorcycle in India.
Over the last few quarters, the company has said that it would like to build a portfolio of CNG motorcycles. For every motorcycle, you'd like to have a CNG vertical as well.
Within this calendar year 24, in the very near future, I think you will see us announce the world's first CNG motorcycle.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing not one, not two, but 3 automobile revolutions together, which are EVs, hydrogen, and now the CNG revolution. So, in today's case study, let's deep dive and try to understand why is CNG considered to be the next game-changing fuel for India? What has Bajaj Auto done so remarkable that it has now become the market leader in this space? What is the Indian government doing to boost the CNG industry in India? And lastly, for people like you and me, what are the new opportunities in this growing market of CNG? Before we move on, previously we discussed about Tutsi, which is an Indian D2C brand, and how they provide a guaranteed and effective solution for straightening crooked teeth or closing gaps between teeth through their invisible teeth aligners. I got my at-home dental scan done by their experts and received my personalized aligners from Tutsi within just a few days. And they were both invisible and removable. Tutsi uses the best-in-class technology to effectively treat all teeth misalignment issues. Wearing these aligners for 22 hours daily over 6 to 10 months will help you achieve perfectly aligned teeth. Tutsi has designed over 2.5 lakh smiles, and their aligners are US FDA cleared, and their team of in-house dentists and orthodontists ensure that your smile is in great hands. Getting Tutsi aligners is incredibly simple. Just visit your nearest Tutsi Experience Center or schedule a free at-home scan using the Tutsi app or website. These aligners are much better alternative to the traditional metal braces. I always emphasize on the significance of oral hygiene, and Tutsi simplifies it. Well-aligned teeth not only enhances appearance but also prevents issues like cavities, teeth yellowing, and future dental expenses. So if you have crooked or gapped teeth, consider exploring Tutsi aligners. Start by booking a free teeth scan and doctor consultation using the link in my description. And you must hurry because this free scan is only available for the first 1,000 individuals. Chalo, let's start from the basics and understand what exactly is CNG and how is it different from other fuels. People, CNG is nothing but compressed natural gas and it is extracted from the surface of earth just like petroleum. In fact, it is even found near the oil wells. This gas is then compressed to 1% of its volume at standard atmospheric pressure. And then it is packed in cylinders. These cylinders are the cylinders that you see in our cars and rickshaws. Now, the reason why CNG is special is because it has three major superpowers. Firstly, CNG is an environmentally friendly fuel. So, when an ICE vehicle runs on petrol, it releases various pollutants like nitrogen oxide and carbon monoxide. All these gases contribute to the greenhouse effect. Whereas when CNG burns, it majorly releases only carbon dioxide and water vapor. And this CO2 emission is 10% lower than diesel engines and 25% lower than petrol engines. Secondly, for every kilo of CNG, it provides the same mileage or perhaps more as compared to petrol. So for every kg of CNG, while a Maruti Alto 800 can run for 31.59 kilometers, with a kg of petrol, it can run for 28.66 kilometers. And finally, CNG is extremely pocket friendly. While the cost of running a rickshaw on petrol is about 4.4 rupees per kilometer, for a rickshaw on CNG, it is only 2.5 rupees per kilometer. So if you see, that is a 45% decrease in cost of running. And same is the case with cars also. If you drive a hybrid Maruti Alto and travel 2000 kilometers in a month, with a petrol cost of 106.31 rupees per litre and a mileage of 22.05 kilometers per litre, it would cost you 90.7 litres and 9,642 rupees in fuel cost. Whereas with CNG, with a mileage of 31.59 kilometers per kg, it would cost you 63.31 kgs and just 4,811.56 rupees. So CNG is almost 50% cheaper than petrol. And if a middle class family uses a CNG vehicle instead of a petrol vehicle, it can practically save 50,000 rupees every single year. But you know what, guys? In spite of all these benefits, until 1998, CNG was somehow not seen as an alternate fuel at all. And this is when, in 1998, the Supreme Court of India made a major decision by ordering the government of Delhi to implement CNG or LPG fuel for all autos and for its entire bus fleet. So this is where India's CNG revolution started. Now, you have seen me constantly say that the government is the godfather of the market, right? So you as an entrepreneur need to understand the foresight of the godfather so that you can go on to build $1 million business. And you know what? Bajaj Auto is a classic example of using this foresight to build $1 million business. Because they built a legendary business and left their competition far behind simply because of the understanding of this foresight. So the question is, how did Bajaj Auto do this and what can we learn from Bajaj Auto? Well, as it turns out, after this Supreme Court order in 1998, many companies ignored CNG and they thought CNG will not be a big deal at all. But this is where Bajaj Auto did something absolutely magical. Back then, Bajaj Auto had been producing rickshaws for 40 long years. And after 1998, they came up and said, if the government is bullish, then we need to be bullish about CNG too. During this time, their three-wheelers were running on petrol and they had just begun diesel in 1997. But even then, they made a sudden shift and started working very hard to produce the first CNG auto rickshaw in India. And in just 1 year, that is in 1999, Bajaj Auto launched their first CNG three-wheeler in India. And you know what, guys? They were so early in this game that by the time Mahindra and TVS entered the CNG market, it was already 2001 until Mahindra stepped in and 2008 until TVS stepped in. So by the time their competition hit the market, Bajaj was already 2 years and 9 years into the market respectively. And if you look at how much this first mover advantage helped them, you will know the importance of understanding government policies. In 2024, while 67% auto rickshaws ran on CNG, Bajaj Auto alone, I repeat, Bajaj Auto alone had a market share of 79%. So Bajaj alone sold 4 times more autos than their next 10 competitors combined. While Bajaj Auto sold 1.92 lakh CNG three-wheelers in FY23, its remaining competitors did sales of just 48,385 units in total. This is because, apart from the first mover advantage, over the years, Bajaj developed better technical expertise, they established better relationships with the vendors, and they also built a super strong distribution network. To give you an example of the scale, Bajaj Auto has around 1700 three-wheeler dealerships and authorized service centers all across the country. And the second competitor in terms of this network is Piaggio, and they have 35% lesser network footprint than Bajaj Auto. So this is how, by understanding the foresight of the government, Bajaj Auto won the CNG three-wheeler market in India. Now, if you look at the CNG run four-wheeler market of India, there is again a classic example. Look at this chart. The sales of CNG three-wheelers was 2.41 lakh units in FY23, whereas for CNG four-wheelers, the sales was 32% more at 3.18 lakh units. So even though CNG cars were launched 11 years after rickshaws, the CNG car market is now growing faster than the three-wheeler market. This is both because the four-wheeler market is much bigger and the adoption by the middle class was very quick. This is the reason why if you compare the CNG penetration in the total market of four-wheelers, the penetration is still very low at only 11%. So this means there is still a huge scope for CNG vehicles and CNG infrastructure in the four-wheeler market of India. And you know who's the king of the CNG market in the four-wheeler segment? Not so surprisingly, it is none other than Maruti Suzuki, and they have a 75% market share. This is the reason why both Tata and Hyundai, they are very aggressively expanding their CNG portfolio. In fact, Tata Motors is so bullish that they want to make the CNG penetration equal to the EVs, and by 2030, they wish to achieve 25% market share in the CNG market. Now, another reason why this CNG market is growing so fast is also because of the retrofitting services market in India. In simple words, instead of buying a CNG car, you can get a CNG cylinder fit in your petrol car and use both petrol and CNG. So by investing 50,000 rupees, a middle class family can save 50,000 rupees every single year. So you see, this entire retrofitting market is creating a win-win-win situation for all. Customers who are fed up with high cost have a cheaper option. After retrofitting, there is a drastic boost in customers' confidence. This boost in confidence is allowing automakers to invest in R&D, and eventually the government is benefiting with less imports. So this is the trajectory of the three-wheeler and four-wheeler market of CNG. And like we saw this month, Bajaj Auto took it to the next level with the promise of taking CNG into the two-wheeler market of India. Now, the reason why this announcement is a very big deal is because this release of the CNG motorcycle could disrupt the motorcycle sector of India for three reasons. Firstly, its carbon emissions will be far lesser in spite of having the same top speed as the gasoline counterparts. Secondly, the cost of running the CNG motorcycle is about 0.77 rupees per kilometer as compared to around 1.5 to 1.6 rupees per kilometer for petrol motorcycles. And thirdly, the CNG motorcycle can travel about 101.8 kilometers on 1 kg of CNG. And this is an extraordinary mileage. So not only is the fuel cheaper, it is also better for the environment. And considering the zero emission target of the government, this is a sector which will be pushed heavily by the government, because of which it will become much easier for customers to buy a CNG bike and the companies to manufacture and sell CNG bikes in India, just like it happened for the EV market. So long story short, just like Bajaj disrupted the three-wheeler market in 1999, it is aiming to disrupt the two-wheeler market in the next 5 years. But now the question over here is, Bajaj Auto is a large company, right? So they can capitalize on this wave very easily. But what can people like you and me do to benefit from this CNG wave? Well, for that, you need to have a look at this chart. In 2022, out of the 25 lakh petrol passenger vehicles which were sold, only 4.2 lakh were CNG vehicles. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is a very rare sight in India, because a product like CNG vehicle is much more economical as compared to a petrol vehicle. And yet, it is somehow not sold as much as petrol cars. So if you see, in spite of India being a price-sensitive market, a product that is more cost-efficient is selling less. And you know why this is? This is because India lacks the CNG infrastructure. If you see the number of petrol and diesel stations, there are a total of 67,845 stations in the country. But if you look at the number of CNG stations, we have just 6,088 stations. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but then back in Pune, I have seen long lines of rickshaws waiting at the CNG stations. And it is absolutely ridiculous because they sometimes have to wait for 3 to 4 hours. So this is happening because of an overflooding demand for CNG stations all across the country. This is the reason why the government has set up an aggressive target to ramp up the number of CNG fueling stations from 6,088 to 17,700 stations by 2030. So if you want to set up a CNG station, there is a big opportunity. So do visit your state's website for CNG dealership or land leasing. Secondly, in September 2018, the Indian Ministry of Transport announced that electric vehicles and CNG vehicles will no longer require permits to operate on roads. These permits are for commercial vehicles and also include goods carriers permit and cab permit. So if you start a fleet with CNG vehicles, there is a good opportunity for initiation. And lastly, the world's first ever CNG terminal will be set up in Bhavnagar in Gujarat by 2026. This is essentially a place that stores, compresses and distributes only CNG. So as these terminals are being built across the country, the scope and ease of CNG stations will vastly increase in the next 5 years. So these are the opportunities that are on the rise because of the evolution of the CNG market in India. And if you know more such opportunities, please drop a comment and let the community know about the same. This is the story of CNG in India, its biggest players, the government policies and the opportunities that lie at your disposal. And if I find more such opportunities in this space, I will attach it in the description. And before we say goodbye, do not forget to visit the Tootsie website or download the Tootsie app to get your free invisible teeth aligners and book your free teeth scan through the link in my description. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.